Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to everyone. My name is Dr. Muhammad Muhaizam bin Haji Musa, and I will be online with you today discussing about what we want to see for today's topic, which is topic number 3. Now, first of all, let me adjust a little bit in the next slide so that we can see your comments. Alright. Okay. Alright, now we are going to start a little bit. So thank you very much for everyone joining this online class using a YouTube channel. So first of all, today we are going to talk about topic number 3. So I hope that you are all guys are ready with this lecture. Basically this online lecture will take a little bit. So first of all, I like to ask a question on the chat box. Okay, if you cannot hear me, alright, thank you very much. Okay, so now we can start with today's lecture. So basically, I want to bring this one down. Okay. So what we're going to see basically is this slide we have on this video. We have here a presentation, okay, on the slide. So we're gonna talk about basically last time we discussed the rational model of consumer decision making. Now, okay, now on this, if you can see my cursor, the blue cursor on the chat box, so all these are your comments. So what you can do while I am discussing with this video online, you can post me questions so that I can see your chat, and I will be able to respond directly. So this is how we're going to do for our online class. All right. Okay. So let me go back a little bit, okay, so that we can see more. Okay. All right, so we can see a little bit of the chat box. Okay. All right. Now. Okay. All right. So it's good that we are getting more and more students getting on the chat. So let us wait a little while for everyone to come in and have a little bit. Okay, so let me check the video so that we can see what we have. So and okay, while we are waiting a little bit of time here, I want you to go on the pool everywhere, all right, and get ready with your handphone. Because why? After this we will have one pool everywhere activity, which I will post the link on pool everywhere for you to enter the code. Okay, all right. So all right, let me see a little bit. I want to test. Okay, anyway, let us start. Let's begin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day, everyone. So what we have here, okay, we're going to see the next slide, which basically is on the 7th. Now, risk and involvement. So basically, this topic is talking about what will be the perception or the customer opinion in terms of how will they look into their what you call services, banks financial services. Now, the term risk and involvement. So risk is basically looking at whether or not there will be a potential threat for them when they use the services. Whereas involvement, okay, thank you very much, Noeh Laini. So if you cannot hear my voice, okay, you can use hands-free. You can put the hands-free on your handphone so you can listen better. So maybe later on I will try to check back the voice, okay, in class. All right, never mind. Okay, we are trying to do this just a short while, okay. Okay, let me continue back. Sorry about the interruption, but anyway, please keep on commenting and give up the feedback in the comment. Okay, now next is that usually, okay, in this term, search quality not available because sometimes customer, in order for them to choose the best services that they want from the banks, basically they have to rely on their experience in using a service. Sometimes even though that the financial banks or banks, they provide information about the services, but basically it's all about whether or not the previous customer who have used the services have felt very good in using that. So basically, how will be the opinion of the customer in terms of going to use the service in the future is basically depending on the experience that other customer have feel, or maybe the current customer have felt using the bank. So basically all of this looking back at the feeling of customer experience. So here in the understanding of the customer behavior, so we want to look into how exactly is the customer experience would be. What is the criteria, or how will they base, or what are the criteria that will be based on the customer experience? So basically there are several criteria of their experience. Okay, later on we will discuss on this criteria of experience. Customer attributes. Okay, so here in terms of looking at how is the experience would be, so it also look into customer involvement. Means that in services there must be involvement between the customer and the business, or we call that B2C, okay, business to customer or business to business. So basically the involvement of customer will basically be one of the inputs into how will be the processing of information for the customer to look into. So if there is no involvement by the customer, meaning that the customer will not have the experience that they want in order for them to make the judgment of the services that they are looking at, okay, that they want to choose. So basically the decision about investment would usually involve high level of involvement, because why? Because cash is involved with this. So customers, when they want to decide which one investment that they want, they have to rely on crucial information, very important decision making, because money is involved with this transaction. Okay, now the next slide will talk about several aspects of customer attributes. Basically, you also can look into these attributes to reflect yourself also. Okay, let us look at the next slide. Okay, now as what we said that for customers to make the decision to buy or to go to the bank and to engage with the bank to buy the services or to take the services, it will be based on their experience. Now, there are several customer attributes that will rely on experience or can divide this experience into several customer attributes. When we talk about customer attributes, means that what will be the specific category. So for the experiential view, there are several categories that have been identified by marketing researcher in order for them to understand better about the customer behavior. So let us look at one by one the experiential view of consumer behavior. So number one, I want to explain is the word cynical. Here, cynical. Basically, what we understand about cynical is that if, let's say, for example, a person who wants to choose to decide to buy or to purchase services, basically, they always will critique themselves whether they want to choose or not to choose. Because why? Their decision of the customer will be based, or the experience that will involve is the customer will look into their experience of the integrity of the bank. So basically, for cynical customer, they would see integrity of the bank or honesty of the bank. So usually the people who are cynical, right, in the customer or consumer behavior, they will reflect in terms of the corporate image, sustainability and ethical practices of the bank. So very much a cynical customer, they are very critical in their thinking. They want to look for more information. Okay, good. Now, the next part is knowledgeable customer. So this experiential view is showing or telling that customer that has what we call intention to base their buying decision. Okay, let me move a little bit. Okay, because I believe that hold on, I adjust a little bit. Okay, let me see the okay, I hope you can see this better. Okay, let me see, adjust. Let me move a little bit. Okay, so that you can see what we discussed. Okay, now knowledgeable, okay, is looking at the customers that want to base their decision making on information. Okay, they are what you call people that will make the comparison of products and financial services to various information. So these are what you call people who read a lot, and their experience reflection is looking at meaningfulness experience. Means that when they use a product or when they bought a service with a bank, they are very knowledgeable with the product. That is what we call knowledgeable customer. Because why? They have experience before, okay, using other products with another bank. So when they use a new product or a current product, their assessment to buy or their decision what we call the judgment to buy the product will look into whether or not the service that will the customer will get will be benefiting their lifestyle or not, or fulfilling their lifestyle. Okay, let me adjust it a bit. So that is why what knowledgeable customer is about. They are very knowledgeable, they have experience before, so what they will do is that their experience comes in, look into whether or not the services that they will get from the bank will be improving their lifestyle or fitting the needs of the customer. Okay, the third customer attributes that experiential view can say about customer is looking at time. So here the experience of whether or not the prior experience with the services of the bank will be what we call based on how much time they have to wait to get the service. So their assessment whether or not they want to take the product or to buy the services is looking at the relevance of whether time is very important for them. So they are what we call customer abuse. They are time, okay, time poor. Okay, now the fourth attributes here is what we call tribal customer, meaning that their experience on what they want to see is that they based on what we call a group thinking. So meaning that what they will see is a pattern, or their judgment, their whether they agree or not to choose the product in the future is based on what will be the members that they have the similarity, because tribal is a word to tell about they are in a group of people that have a similarity. So that is what they are. If a customer thinking or what they see is tribal, so they will choose this tribal validation. Now the fifth one is individual customer. So experience that they want is looking at whether or not they are able to experience customization, means that they are able to have the experience to change certain part of the services. So that is what we call customization, means that they are able to change. For example, individual people, okay, they like to make changes with their handphone, right? So if they like to change their handphone, like to what you call buy certain accessories of the phone, so they once they buy a phone, they want to accessorize the phone. So that is what we call customization. So these are people who are individualistic experience. So these are what they seek. They are able to customize their services. So it's very important for these attributes to be considered. Once, for example, up to this explanation, if, for example, a customer who is individual, right, they are more likely to like to purchase a service or to buy a bank product if the product is customizable, means that they're able to make individual changes. So that is more significant, meaning that if, for example, different custom attributes will have a different impact to their decision making. So if a person like make changes, so if the product able to make the changes, the customer will like. But for a person who is a tribal customer, they don't look into the customization of the service. What they are looking for is whether or not the other groups are using the product or not. So they are looking at what is the friends are using. So if the other friends are also using the services, so they will most likely to purchase the product. So every type of customer attributes will have a different impact in the product design. So if the product design are able to meet the consumer attributes in what we have mentioned, every type of consumer attributes, then that will have a higher chance for that particular customer type to purchase. So the problem for banks is when they want to design a bank product or bank services is basically to ensure that uh, more type of uh, experience can be felt by all the people that have difference in consumer attributes. Meaning that, because why? Because banks usually they want to promote one product. They don't want to promote several products for several customers, because it is quite costly for banks to market a service. So basically what they will do, they want to design a product, they will make sure that those elements that will be the preference of the majority of customer or the preference of their target customer will be likely to be picked by the bank and to be designed. So that is why we need to understand what are the consumer attributes in their experiential view, because experience is very important. Experience matters for customer. Okay, now let's move to the last two things before we move to our pool everywhere activity. Now, in the demandingness is basically customers that look into higher expectation or higher excellence in the product delivery. So basically they want what is best for them. They are very demanding, meaning that if a product doesn't fulfill their need, if the product doesn't give them benefit, they don't want to pick. So they are very demanding. They are very choosy. That is demandingness. Okay, they want to look into the highest expectation, excellence. And lastly, is the type of customer that is always experience seeking, means that they are always want to their way is that they always want to try new things. They are able to make their judgment to buy or not to buy if they are able to try first. Testing is about that. So if they are able to test the product before they make the purchase, then they are more likely to buy the services. So that is why these are the seven criteria, okay, of customer attributes that can explain experiential view of consumer behavior. Now, I like you to go into. I want to ask you a question. Now, I'll post you something here. Please prepare for the pool everywhere activity. Okay, with your handphone. Okay, see the video for the link. Okay, now I will post the link to the video. So I want is for you to see this video. Okay, all right. Now most of you have answered. Okay, now my question is now what I want is okay, this is the question. I want you to go and respond to this view. Okay, and these are the activity. Okay, can you see the activity? I just want to ask yourself. Okay, can you enter your your selection? Which type of are you in the pool everywhere? Okay, everywhere. Okay, now, just now, okay, we are already seeing students answering. So just now I saw some movement in this what we call answer. So if we look at this reflection, okay, we can see that most of the students here uh, in our class are a type of uh, people experience that very depend on okay, now cynical, very cynical means that when they want to choose their product, okay, they will based on the experience of critics. Okay, critic means that uh, they don't believe in the what you call straight away buy, so they want to see whether this is useful or not. They want to see the brand is good or not. Okay, looking at the what we call organization, whether the brand is very famous or not. So that is cynical. Okay, if you look at this level in our class, the seventh place or the last criteria is not a lot of people are very demanding, right? As based on the pool here. So that's very good. So means that this is how we are interacting in our class using online. I hope that this is a very good experience for all of you to actually participate in our online class activities. Beside listening to the what you call video narration on the slides, this pool provide an opportunity for me to see your opinion of certain question. So let us wait some time, okay, for at least more people to answer. So I hope that you can what you call try to answer. Okay, we are seeing some movement of what you call changes of the position. Okay, as what I explained, I want to tell you again. Okay, some definition. For example, if you want to know tribal is based on let's say for example similar interests, similar clothing, trends. Okay, so maybe let's say for example a service. Okay, if the bank's financial service doesn't have application in the iPhone, so because certain type of customer, they are iPhone user, they don't want to change their phone. So this is what we call iPhone enthusiasts. Okay, so people who like to use iPhone, when they see a product or a service that doesn't unable to use in the handphone, in the iPhone, they cannot download the app in the iPhone, so they will have a negative experience with that services. So that is tribal explanation, right? So that is another thing. Okay, let us see a little bit. Okay, what else? Okay, now I want to give a chance. If you have any question regarding up to this level, please you can post your question here so that I can answer what you call your comments. Okay, let me put here. Okay, if any question, you can post here. Okay, never mind. Okay. Oh, sure. All right. Very good. Next. Okay. Now I think this is very good. Okay. We have see. We are still waiting because why? In this pool everywhere, there is a maximum of 40 people that can participate. Now, what I want is the maximum number of people to answer. Based on today's attendance, all right, I believe that there is a lot of you have not answered yet this poll anywhere, but never mind. We take this as a snapshot of the opinion of the class. So in the end, okay, what I ask is what type are you in consumer attributes, and majority of students in our class are cynical type experience. So that is the input that you give for me, and the least type of consumer attributes is demandingness in their experience. Okay, so I hope you understand what this means in the decision making of purchasing a financial product and services. Okay, now let us move a little bit. Okay, so you see this will be the survey. Okay. Before I want to basically end this session, so this will be the topic that we will discuss in the next class: satisfaction and dissatisfaction. And what we will see is that on the next class, okay, we will have a little bit of class activity. So what I want, I will ask some question during the class. We don't exactly have a quiz, but we're going to have a competition about your knowledge up to this topic, up to this slide. So make sure that you are able to read the slide prior to this, and also see this video that we have today. So on Monday, you're gonna have a game, a competition between teams. So we're gonna see who wins, who managed to answer the question up to this topic. This topic number 3 only. I will test your knowledge. So make sure that you are able to read the textbook that you have, only topic number 3 up to this. Okay, this one, and make sure that are able to participate in this class. So anyway, we have ended what we want to brief in our class slide. So I want to tell you, okay, please don't forget for today, make sure that in your Trello, okay, make sure that you have uploaded your animation video. So make sure that your Powtoon video is here. So for group A, you have, okay, so group Powtoon activity, the link I cannot see. Make sure that you don't put that in the attachment. So put your video that you have prepared, animation, on the description, or not on the description, but okay, we have one question I want to see now from Aisha Ahmad. Okay, I just asked one question and then we finish this class. Now Aisha Ahmad asked, okay, let me go to this one. Let me see if we can go to this. Okay, now this question is about question from Aisha Ahmad. Sir, what is the use of the consumer attribute in banking institution? Now basically, for banks, they will make sure that when they design the product, when they design the service, okay, they want to see first who is the target market. Meaning that later on we will learn about market segmentation, right? Okay, now before we go to the market segmentation, you must understand what is consumer behavior. So in this topic, consumer behavior, you must understand the what we call the concept of the experience view. So when we have the understanding of the view. So banks will look into the 7 criteria that we have learned today, and then based on the 7 criteria, whether or not the service that they have designed will they able to meet the expectation of these 7 criteria, 7 experience. Can the services give what is needed for this type of customer? So that is what this consumer attributes is very useful for bank. Because why? If the bank doesn't understand the customer attributes, if the bank doesn't put into the reflection of what the product or the service that they have designed to give to the customer, meaning that there will be a probability that the product of the bank will not be what we call able to sell to many people. Because why? Because if they fail to understand the product development, maybe they did not anticipate what most of the customer that they are using the product, they want to see or to seek the experience. So that is very important in understanding customer attributes. So I hope I have answered Aisyah Ahmad answer. Okay. Okay, the video, please make sure that you are able to submit it at least tonight. Okay, no problem. Okay, as long as I can view it. But anyway, I'm going to finish this video. So thank you very much for everyone to participate in this online video, and don't forget, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Digital Education Academy. So inshallah we meet again in our face-to-face session. So thank you for participating today. So everyone, Assalamualaikum. Thank you for commenting. So thank you everyone. Bye. Have a good day and have a good weekend. Assalamualaikum. Bye bye.